In the bottom center, we have from Team Root Gaming, it is Payam Toyam, the blue Protoss from Root Gaming. TT1, a former teammate of Gretorp, as well as a really nice guy overall. Fun fact, I put it in the bio card today. TT1 actually plays with a $300 keyboard. That's half mechanical, half what's the term for? It's like membrane keyboard. So it's like a half membrane, half mechanical keyboard. And it feels so weird, Andre. It feels like it's neither. You know, like those shampoos that are like supposed to be shampoo and conditioner. It's supposed to be 2-in-1, but it's really neither. Like,
it actually destroys your hair.
Yeah, it makes your hair worse.
It dries out your hair. Makes it smell.
It felt so weird because I was like, TT1's keyboard is neither mechanical or membrane. I'm like, what is it? And half the game I was playing on his keyboard while he was here. I was just wondering, what is this keyboard? I couldn't feel it, but it's very interesting. In the top center, a man who's recently had to switch keyboards to Steel Series. It is Stephano from Team Evil Genius's raid called Stephano. Everyone knows him, and whether you hate him or love him, Stephano is incredibly talented at this game. And I'm very proud to say I am 1-0 against him, historically.
Me too.
When did you beat Stephano?
I beat him ZVT.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. He played Terran, you played Zerg. You played each other's races.
That's right. And that's how it's going to stay from now on.
Never really played Stephano.
100% win rate against Stephano.
So the only person left to beat Stephano is Kevin, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure Kev could beat Stephano's Terran.
Void Rays, bro.
Yeah.
They're good.
I think Kevin would love doing that. In fact, Dustin Browder said he's going to relook at the Void Ray, or not necessarily him, but Blizzard's going to relook at the Void Ray very soon in Heart of the Swarm. Maybe tweak some of the way their mechanics work, maybe the damage mechanism. I always did think that the charge juggling was really cool, and that would be like the next level Void Ray play. Except then people started realizing Void Rays just were not good, other than maybe some special scenarios in PvZ.
I think they should be turned into the shredders.
So like they're like a unit that just sprays stuff and is used defensively.
Yep.
How, like a laser just does a cone damage and just hits everything charged.
Exactly.
That would be very boring unit to use, 100. I don't know. I think it'd be actually really strong against a lot of.
And they should be able to
in.
force shield in the air.
All right, Andrew. Now you're just being silly.
No.
TT1 under some slight pressure, but should be able to get away with this. It's Metropolis, a huge map. A map that people actually say that the game begins on 3 bases. Stephano just kind of circumventing the natural wall off and going about things normally. Because the map is so expansive and so big, players do like going for Phoenix play into a fast 3rd base. It's a quick Stargate after you expand, and from the expand, you basically take a 3rd base while pressuring the Overlords, denying vision, lifting off stuff in the middle of the map, and you should be able to genuinely defend against any kind of aggression. But I don't know. I haven't seen Metropolis in a while since GSL did take it off their map pool, and we haven't seen too much of it at MLG. People tend to go to other maps like Tal'Darim Malter.
Yeah, that's one of the favorites.
Yeah, it's a oh, wow.
I think that's everybody's favorite, man.
Yeah.
Not that NASL.
I used to love, when Tal'Darim Malter first came out, I thought it was the sickest map ever. Well, because, I mean, compared to the other maps we had, it was that, and, like, GSL was thinking about Ire Garden. And at the time, like, it was Tal'Darim Malter came around the same time as Jungle Basin and Shakura's Plateau and Typhon Peak. Like, what else maps were big to play macro on? There was no such thing.
I have a very famous game against Maximus Black on Tal'Darim Malter.
Yeah?
He four-gated me.
Did you lose?
No.
You won.
Good. Of course. That's why it's famous.
I told you he was going to forget.
I know. You're like, this guy's really cheesy.
I'm like, this guy's going to forget you, man.
I was like, are you sure?
This is what happens when you have Frodan coaching. He knows the build. Gretorp will help you mechanically
he's going to forget you. I'm like, are you?
I got the build figured out. To be fair, Maximus Black has been practicing a lot. He streams almost every day. Jeff is a great guy and very classy. He played Trimaster on the feature station MLG and took his defeat in Grays. Great guy. I love him to death. TT1's going to go for a 4-gate pressure build, at least the way he's gearing everything up. He does go for +1, and he's getting 3 more gates, although he doesn't have a pylon in the middle of the map. So I wonder where he's planning on this. Is he going to add more gateways and just continue to pressure? He may just go for an all-in on Stephano.
Dan, did you know you can bet in the NASL chat? Excuse me, I still have hiccups for like 10 minutes. But did you know you can bet on the NASL chat?
Yes.
Well, in the betting right now.
What are the best? Do you have the best statistics, Andre?
1,600 points are on the line. And guess who's the favorite? TT1.
With 90.7% of the vote?
90.7.
It's Stephano, man. Why'd you say? You said TT1. Stephano is the favorite.
I'm pretty sure that's a mistake.
No. Only one person. Only one person bet max on TT1. Lots of points are on the line, guys. For those of you who don't know, you may be watching NASL for the first time if you're coming off the MLG stream. If you're a subscriber, you have the option of chatting and betting on who you think will take it for points. You start off with 10 points, and from there you continue to get points back based off odds. For example, let's say Stephano is like a 3-to-1 favorite. If you bet 10 points on TT1, you get 30 back. Very simple, right? And Stephano, obviously, you would get less points for betting. You wouldn't get a full return. We compile a leaderboard. We have it on a website. People who are top in rankings are eligible for prizes depending on what we're giving out. We've given out hardest won beta keys, and we're going to give out stuff in the future. One of the benefits of being a subscriber, other than being ridiculously good looking and
more successful in life.
Very successful in life. Those are all common correlations we have with subscribers.
We're not saying it's causation, but
no.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was.
That's right.
Gosh, I've had hiccups for this whole freaking cast. This is actually, well, this whole game. It's actually the most frustrating thing in the world.
No worries, Andre. I got your back.
Thanks, bro.
Stephano is going to go for a 4th base. Seeing a 3rd base from Protoss means he can get a 4th base, meaning he can tech very nicely to whatever he wants. I mean, Stephano is just making pure Zerglings and going for +1/+1, just getting for whatever he wants. And TT1 really can't do anything about it, although he is playing more passive. And he is cornering out more Immortals. Now, TT1 is just starting to scout Zerg for the first time. And part of the reason why is because Stephano is very famous for Roaches. But when you go for this Zergling composition, you want Colossus, not Immortals. So, and I don't even think TT1 necessarily got the information he wanted either. He saw an Infestation Pit, and that's it. He saw a couple Zerglings straggle here and there, but he didn't see anything. He didn't see double Evo Chamber. He didn't see like a bunch of units sitting around. So TT1's going to start transitioning to Colossus, but I feel like Stephano has all the information he wants. There's a bunch of sentries hanging out in the middle of the map, Andre.
Oh, he needs to force it at the bottom part. He's going to go ahead and do that, but taking massive damage. You can see the multi-pronged harass is actually just doing way too much, clearing out the top. And the bottom will be defended, but that's a lot of sentries to be losing there, right?
And he lost his Immortals. That's just really rough on TT1. He lost a lot of units there for very cheap units. Zerglings are practically free at this stage of the game for Stephano. Only cost really Larva, but Stephano is making more Zerglings, more Infestors actually, and also getting up his upgrades. So from here, TT1 is forced to play more passive. When you have that big of a loss, you can't really set up any kind of timing, at least for a while. TT1 has to gather himself if he wants to go for a 3-base push.
He will go ahead and do that. You can see double Robo on the way out right now. Another Forge, so he is just gearing up for probably a 3 or 4 Colossus push. Stephano will be with a good composition, though. You can see his Spires are already done at this point. Hive is on the way. And as soon as he actually gets out his Corruptors, I don't see a way for TT1 to really do damage against this composition. Right now, Stephano isn't really worried about any potential pushes in the near future because he cleared out all those sentries and Immortals and even Zealots and Stalkers.
Stephano,
God dang
Stephano is playing this very greedy. Look at how fast he's taking the Hive on such a low amount of supply and pressuring with such few units off creep. He is so bold and gregarious right now. It's just there's nothing really TT1 can do about it. He's forced to play defensive. If his sentries poke out too far out, just fungal and immediately lose his ability to control space. Meanwhile, TT1 doing the right thing in this scenario. When you see Ling Infestor, you need Colossus. This is a build that Kevin likes doing a lot, actually, going for double Robo when you see this many Lings and Infestors from the Zerg. But Stephano has just so much banking up, especially since his Hive is finished. He's going to have Adrenal Glands +3/+3 and his Greater Spire, and now all he has to do is wait He even has a spine crawler wall started up as well. This is going to be really tough.
It's the scariest thing ever right now.
Like, there's nothing TT1 can do.
No,
that's
I
like
mean,
the scary thing. He just has to expand.
The pushes aren't going to work now. When spine crawlers are already set up, that actually gives a place where Colossus need to actually advance onto that. Else, fungal growths will go off on all the gateway units, etc. And you don't want everything caught. But if the Colossus are alone, you can still fungal growth that, and then just surge your Corruptors forward. And with your Colossus so far out of position, it's not going to be too advantageous for you. So I really feel like at this point, TT1 can attack. He just needs to tech up to Mothership.
Yeah, he's doing the right thing. He's getting his Stargate up. He's even getting a Warp Prism as well as Gravitic Drive. That's the right moves you need to do late game. Realize, yes, I can't necessarily push. There's no timing that I have, especially with Infestors, Spine Crawlers, and inevitably Broodlords out. Gotta harass Zerg, have to force him to keep up with you because his composition slows down. Sure, Zerglings and Infestors can be kind of quick, but as soon as Broodlords come out, Zerg becomes much more immobile. Utilize that to your ability and use War Prisms around the map to control space.
Now, this shouldn't actually be a real engagement. TT1 just sharking around right here. If he actually engages here, I think he's dead because of the composition. It's just so far behind his opponent. Even though it's relatively fast, 16 minutes into the game, and you already have a 4 Colossus push. That's actually really, really scary. But this isn't a normal circumstance. I mean, Stephano has gone unharassed up to 5 bases at this point, and when you give a Zerg that much freedom, they will tech to Broodlords by 17 minutes.
I mean, he's got Broodlords, and he's got, like, 16 Spines. He's got plenty of Infestors. He can start trading out his Lings for other supply as well. TT1, of course, just flirting with the idea while his Warp Prisms are going to 2 different corners of the map. Mass Zealot warping to the right side. How is he going to also do the left side as well? Stephano's expecting it. There's a couple of Zerglings are there to protect it. But the right-hand base is going to die, and that's actually really nice for him because Stephano's gas intake is very important. He sent these drones over.
TT1 playing this out really nicely, actually. Starting to force you a little bit weird.
He's trying to trap the Infestors. Does manage to catch a couple of them, but the Broodlords are now attacking from one of the safest spots on the map. And these units are locked down by Fungals. TT1 losing a lot of units. Although the rematch from Stephano is going to be a lot in Zerglings. Nice high ground Fungal as well. Colossus are getting chased, and a couple of them should be dropping. TT1 trying to establish his 5th base while still harassing as well. Economically, TT1 sitting in a very nice spot, almost on par with Stephano.
Wow. I think TT1 actually pulled ahead in that. And now War Prism going to the 3rd base, really forcing him back. You know, it's so good to have that Broodlord Infestor composition, but a lot of Infestors just died there. And another thing that you need with Broodlords and Infestors is actually positioning. If you don't have the positioning, it's completely useless. And right now, when TT1 is so active on the map, he's basically saying, make your Broodlords on the opposite side of the map. That makes it so much less attractive for Stephano to walk across the map and then be prone to all of this Warp Prism harass. That's why TT1 is doing it perfectly, getting his own bases, matching his opponent. He's actually playing this out beautifully, and now that he has his Mothership coming out, I mean, yes, it is still pretty far behind, but the fact of the matter is it takes so much for Stephano to actually say, I need to push across the map, especially with so many Zerglings. Units tab is showing 76 Zerglings. Now, you don't want that many. You want probably 20. You still want them running across the map, you know, intercepting those drops. But at this point, when you have 76, that's like 25 supply that you rather have either Infestors or Broodlords.
TT1 gonna go for some Archons as well to incorporate into his mix. Nice War Prism snipe from Stephano. Has Corruptors covering each base on the exterior side. TT1, see how much he can do with a Mothership that's now out onto the field. Although I'm looking for it, Andre. Oh, right here. It's in the middle of the map. He's using it offensively. Now, Metropolis is a huge map, and with huge map comes mobility, right? Like, if you're able to traverse the map, and that's why recall can be extremely powerful. We've seen people in the past attack one side and then recall to another and use War Prism to pull Corruptors out of position and do all kinds of crazy things because you can't be on one side of the map and then the other as Zerg at this stage of the game.
That's right. So what TT1 is trying to do at this point is is kind of force his opponent to be in an uncomfortable position just so that he can actually establish map control, trying to give his War Prisms a little bit more room to actually be flexible. But I love that you say that. You know, there's actually some tricks. Actually, my next trick tip, where you can actually place the mothership on the void. And once you place it on the void, the closest ground is actually going to be the place where all the units get recalled to. So you can place your mothership right here, and all the units will recall over into this 5th base. That's something definitely that TT1 can do. Like attack on this side and then recall. All of a sudden, you attack the 5th base, draw the mothership back, and then recall again to keep your units alive while killing maybe a 4th and 5th base.
Well, TT1 for now just poking. He does have a War Prism on the left side, but a nice catch again by Stephano. Stephano being very diligent with that side of the map, making sure he doesn't get
TT1
caught.
is playing this so well, Frodan, and Mothership
Vortex!
Beautifully done!
But he does get the Neuro Parasite off, he being Stephano, and now he's going to pull it over to his side and to try to see if he can cloak his units instead, but the big blink from TT1. Stephano's in trouble.
Oh my god, TT1 is destroying his opponent. You can see all those infestors should have been fungling, should have been throwing infested Terrans. They get cleaned up so very fast. TT1 now reinforcing with additional stalkers from below. Is it going to be enough though, Frodan? I don't know. It's so hard to tell, but there's not a lot of Broodlords left.
The Corruptor's trying to work on the Mothership, and the Mothership does end up dropping. Interesting idea by Stephano. He just pulled the Mothership way out of position, waiting for the Remax as well. The Zerglings are coming in. TT1 making Archons in the face of the Zerglings, trying to clump up all of them so the one Colossus can do it.
Nice.
Using the AI to confuse it and able to save a lot of his units. Well done by TT1. And Stephano was not able to crush the army.
Very, very impressive play. Not only did he, you know, kind of trade out, which is historically bad for Protest just because of the larva mechanic, but he was able to deal with that reinforcement wave, which is all Zerglings. So now Stephano doesn't really have that huge wave of larva to really remax and then put pressure on his opponent. So really well done. You can see TT1 takes the advantage from there. He has so many Archons, so many Stalkers, which aren't necessarily good, but right now, you know, momentarily, while there are no infestors out on the map, they are empowered. They can take out those Broodlords pretty nicely.
Whoa, a big blink forward from TT1, trying to directly engage it, but the Zerglings are doing a great job buffering. These Broodlords do have +2 armor and +3 attack. Those are very heavy-hitting Broodlords, but the blink again from TT1.
Oh my
trying to take out
God.
the Broodlords. Can TT1 make magic happen? 90% of you thought that Stephano would win, but TT1 looks like he's going to be able to get into the production line of Zerg and work on some of these bases, which are invaluable to Stephano.
Yeah, that's right, Frodan. And there's no infestors behind here to really reinforce these Broodlords. So the Broodlords are just going to be picked off so easily by just a small group of Stalkers. The Archons are enough AoE to actually deal with all the Broodlings and the Zerglings. As you can see, TT1 is clearing everything up. Only a 5th mining base for Stephano. He's on 1 mining base. That's it. Whereas TT1 is on 2.5 mining bases. This is beautiful. Now going into the other Spinecrawler wall, but it's not going to be enough for Stephano. My goodness, TT1 is just surging ahead in this game.
And TT1 even has another Mothership out into the field. Everything is good. If he ends up losing this army, which he really shouldn't, he can just kind of fall back and use the Mothership defensively. Stephano not trying to pump out roaches, but he really has nothing to be able to face off against his army. Really trying to salvage things together. I mean, any kind of lesser Zerg would die by now, but Stephano says bravo and leaves the game.
Wow.
Good game. Well played by TT1. Awesome job as he takes game number 1. Ooh.
Stephano was outplayed there, man.
Yeah.
Stephano had probably the best start possible. A lot of times Protest
He didn't lose drones, really.
Yeah, he didn't lose drones in the beginning, didn't get pressured in the beginning, went straight up to Zergling Infestor. That means your hive tech is going to be so nice not having to go roaches, roach upgrades. That actually affects you quite substantially. So he gets straight up into Infestors, kills a lot of units in the beginning phase, and then loses the game. He's on 5 bases, but he still is not able to really materialize that advantage. One thing, if he actually remaxed on roaches with upgrades, he would have been so far ahead going up against a Stalker Archon army. You just cannot go Stalker Archon against roaches, but he went Zerglings.
He didn't really have that great upgrades, though. He had only +1 on the roaches, so it would have been a pretty big difference. Overall, though, well played by TT1. Not going to take that away from him as he's up 1-0 currently over his opponent. That game was brought to you by Squarespace. Go to nasl.tv/p/squarespace for a limited time special offer on everything you need to create a website. Check it out while we take a break and get ready for game number 2 between Stephano and TT1. Will the upset happen? We'll find out right after this.